Hey viewers, if you want your stories, experiences of infidelity, breakup, cheating, to be narrated and get featured to others in our Mr. Cool's Planet community, feel free to submit your stories to the mail given in description. Either way, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the channel. Let's go.
Hello and welcome, fellow travelers. We invite you to join us on a journey of different worlds and emotions. So get ready to embark on this adventure. Let's go. Story 1. My wife went out last night and didn't come home until this morning. This is horrible. I'm furious right now. But I'm also depressed as hell. I know what I have to do, it's just killing me that I have to do it. It's fresh, and it hurts a lot. My wife didn't come home last night. She went out with a couple of girlfriends, which is pretty normal for her. She's normally back around 2 a.m. on these nights, so I waited up. Around 2:30, I called to check in. She answered, and I could hear people in the background. She told me they went to a party but were leaving in a couple of minutes. She wasn't home by 3, so I texted. It delivered, but no reply. Around 4 a.m. I called again. It rang a couple of times before she sent me to voicemail. My wife finally came stumbling through the door at 6:47 a.m. this morning. I know the exact time because I was worried. She was wearing a dress she didn't leave the house in, with mesh leggings I've never seen either. The leggings had clearly been torn, and her makeup was smudged. My heart sank when I saw her. My immediate worry was that she had been assaulted. She only shook her head no when I asked her that. I asked her what she had been doing then. She only said that I knew what she had been doing, and that kind of confirmed what the voice in the back of my head had been screaming since she walked in. My wife cheated on me last night. I asked her who it was. She shrugged almost casually and said it was somebody they met at the club. She went back to his house and hooked up with him, then Ubered home. She then said she didn't want to fight and just wanted to sleep. So that's what she did. She's still asleep now, and didn't even take a shower before passing out. Suffice to say, our relationship is over. We don't have any kids, and we rent, so it shouldn't be an extremely complicated process. I keep trying to reason myself out of it, pretending there might be something to salvage here. I've always maintained that cheating would be a red line for me though. I think I need to stick to that now. Small update. Alright, things have happened. I am no longer at home, I left. I wasn't able to get the day off work today though, so I'm writing this on my lunch now. It's been a struggle keeping myself together today, honestly. I've had to sneak off to the bathroom twice to cry. Shit's rough, dude. I'll post something more detailed later on because holy fucking shit, there's a lot. I'm exhausted. I've only slept about 4 hours total since this all happened. Does anyone know if I should post the actual update in a new thread, or just update the one I already made? It's gonna be a lot of text, probably longer than the first one by a bit. Also, to the woman who felt compelled to send me a topless picture. Thanks, but also no thanks. My heart just isn't in that sort of thing right now. One more update. I think I went through all of the stages of grief while my soon-to-be ex was sleeping. I wasn't expecting my post to get any attention at all. I just figured I needed to try to talk to someone about it, because I was not in a good headspace. I made the post in the morning, and by noon she was still conked out in the bedroom. I had processed things a bit more, and I had a rough plan in my head that I was starting to set in motion. I made a short list of questions I wanted answers to, gathered up all my important documents, laptop, etc. Then I went into the bedroom and started packing myself a suitcase. I know a lot of folks wanted me to kick her out. I did consider it, but honestly I'm not overly attached to this place. We just rent, and I'm in a lucky enough situation to be able to say that paying half the rent for a few months isn't going to financially end me. It'll sting a little bit, I won't lie. But I'll make it, and I feel like being around this place is only going to remind me of her anyway. I need to be looking forward, not back. She ended up waking up about halfway through me packing my suitcase. There was momentary confusion as she looked around the room, then she just started bawling. Maybe this is awful of me, but I didn't bother comforting her. I told her I had the screenshots of her Uber and text messages from her phone, and that plus her confirmation was enough that things between us were completely done. She didn't answer me, and just cried louder. I debated trying to continue the conversation, but I decided to just pack the rest of my suitcase and head back out to the living room until she came out. When she finally left the bedroom, she sat next to me on the couch and asked me if we could talk things through. I told her as calmly as possible that wasn't how things were going to work. I was going to ask questions, I wanted honest answers. She told me she'd be honest, so I proceeded. My voice was shaking the entire time, it was taking me everything to hold it together, but I kept going. Was this the first time she had cheated? She started crying before she answered that, then told me no. She had cheated on me multiple times over the course of our relationship. It was, and I'm going to use her words exactly here, just sex, a way for me to let off steam. None of it ever meant anything. I wrote a comment shortly after making my post that all the love couldn't just fade away in one swoop. Well, it can. It hit me right then that I wasn't dealing with my wife. The person I was married to literally wasn't in the room. This was someone different. She refused to tell me exactly how many times she had cheated, just more than last night. Had she used protection? No hesitation from her before she nodded her head emphatically. She seemed surprised I'd even asked that. I'm still going to get tested just to be safe. I did some research into timing and I'm going to look after it. Were her friends also cheating on their spouses? Yes, and no. I tried to get her to tell me which of her friends were cheating so I could get in contact with their spouses. She probably should have, because her refusal led to me messaging pretty much the romantic partner of every one of her girlfriends I could find on social media. There are a couple I don't know or couldn't find, but I did my part. Why did she do it? This was the answer that gutted me the most. I'm going to use her exact words again. I need to have sexual variety. I told her that it's not like our sex life is dull. She clarified. It's not the same as something new. I didn't even have a response to that one. I had expected something about me working too much, or not supporting her emotionally. Nope. She just fucked other guys because she felt like it, and wanted to have some fun. When I didn't respond, she started asking me about counseling and therapy. I reiterated that our relationship was over. I'd be leaving. What she did next disgusted me. My ex actually tried to have sex with me. She put her hands on me, and started trying to take off my clothes. I felt like I wanted to vomit, and pushed her away after a couple of seconds. She just kept telling me that she would figure out a way to fix it, that we would work through it together. I told her that there was no way, and she started bawling again. She went to the bathroom and locked herself inside. I was just sick of everything at that point. I called her mother, and told her what was going on. The full story too, the cheating, the questions I had asked, and the fact I was leaving. I've always had a good relationship with my ex's parents. They both decided to drive to town, which is about an hour for them. Once I knew someone was on the way, I just grabbed my things and left. Her waterworks in the bathroom were just annoying me because it felt hollow to me, especially given the answers to my questions. I ended up packing another bag before I left, and took all the things that I could think of that I felt sentimental attachment to, with me. I found a parking lot and sat in my car until I was able to get in contact with a buddy for a place to crash. I tried to take a nap, but I was running on way too much adrenaline. I knew when her parents had made it to the apartment because she started calling me. When I didn't answer those, she started texting me. She had gone from sad and crying to furious. Apparently I'm a fucking piece of shit for telling her mom everything. Whoops. I'm not sorry. I've received roughly 100 texts from her since leaving. They range from name calling all the way to begging me to come back, to sending me pictures of the food she ate for some reason. I haven't responded to any of them. I feel like I said my piece before leaving. So that's where I'm at now. We didn't have joint finances, so that part was easy. I canceled all the subscriptions that go to my credit card just to be sure, and changed all my important passwords. I'm crashing on a friend's couch for the next bit, but I've got some feelers out to some short-term rental places until I can find something more permanent. I've got feelers out for a divorce attorney too. A coworker of mine had a recommendation, so barring something better I'll probably go with them. Final update. It feels kind of surreal to think about that still. About 2 weeks into everything, she got resistant. I cut her off entirely and she refused to return my attorney's calls for a little while. Eventually things got back on track. As for the infidelity itself, I don't have a ton more details to share with you. We did a short mediation, and by that time I didn't feel there was any remorse on her end. I've talked about that a lot with my therapist. I'm in therapy, by the way. It still hurts that someone who I thought loved me could have apparently cared about me so little, but I'm working through it. Man. When she admitted that some of her friends cheated but wouldn't say who, I would have added all of the husbands and boyfriends of the women who attended those parties to a group chat and told them what I'd been told. Story 2. My 34M wife 30F cheated on me and I just need to vent. So I found out yesterday that my wife is cheating on me. Here's a little backstory. I have type 1 diabetes and have had it since I was 3. Well, being diabetic for that long can cause some impotent issues, and they started a little before we met, and this caused my already pretty bad depression to spiral and for me to get the yips when in the bedroom. I tried everything and it was just getting worse and worse, and she stated multiple times she was okay without sex. I may not have been that good in the bedroom, but I cook, clean, surprise her, take her on vacations, tell her how beautiful she is every day and hold her and kiss her. I felt I was a pretty good husband and everything seemed fine till a few months ago. This brings us to me noticing that she is starting to do things she was never interested in before, like hockey, and I was happy she found a new hobby and encouraged it. One day she said she was going to a game with a friend from work named Kelly, and I asked to meet her since she was getting picked up anyways, and my wife just kept saying they were running late and I thought that was suspicious as hell. I eventually let it go, and then she really changed over the last few weeks and I just asked what's wrong, can we talk about his, etc., and tried. Well, she planned a trip with her best friend that got cancelled due to the flight getting cancelled. She was upset, so I told her to go to Chicago or the Dells with her best friend and I'd give her $300 spending money because I just got paid and that would have gone to savings and stuff anyways. The night before I asked her again, please talk to me and if anything was wrong, and she said no, everything is good. She left and came back yesterday. Last night while she was in the shower I got a message on Reddit from her BFS ex and he said, she's seeing other guys behind your back. So I went into the bathroom and told her I was gonna look at her phone, and that started everything. I don't want to write any more IDK what to do. I have no one here. Dude. Do you honestly think you'd be able to trust her again? That's what you need to ask yourself. How any other guys were there? Sorry op, but you sound like a decent guy and don't deserve to be treated like that. There are other ways to have fun in the bedroom without full sex. Story 3. Me 36M and my wife 26F need advice for big decision, family separation. Because I'm so conflicted, I really need people's advice and wisdom here. My wife told me a few days ago that she didn't feel anything for me anymore, totally out of the blue. She has suffered depression and always refused help. We have a good life, our own rented house, plans for the future, and most important, we have a beautiful toddler daughter. Everything seemed fine to me, but my wife does seem emotionless at times. We met 5 years ago and things were so fun, and around 2.5 years ago she cheated on me and then found out she was pregnant also. I forgave her and supported her, but it was a major low in all our lives, including family. My wife went into a deep depression and everyone was deeply hurt, but we did well, lived together, and we are at that point where we are recovering from having a child and starting to go on holidays, have more money and more settled with less worry. This is why when she flatly came out and said she didn't love me, it was a big shock. Her family was also very angry and upset, as I've really supported her and worked hard for our little family. A few days after she told me this, things became a bit more clear. I did look at her email etc. and found not only had she cheated on me but for the past month she had been chatting with a lot of guys, probably more than a dozen. She would meet them online on dating sites, one as a coworker, book a hotel, and while we thought she was working and I'm at home with our little girl, she was even paying for the hotel to meet up with them. I have since found out she has started vaping nicotine, high chance of vaping weed, and has been taking alcohol to these meetups. How stupid can she be? She doesn't know these men, and even a message said no protection was used. I confronted her and she got really angry and hit me. Admittedly, I pushed her away after 4 strikes from her. She repeated that she didn't love me, and although she did say she wanted to co-parent and live in the same house still. It feels so wrong. She wants to separate, but live in the same house and raise our daughter, but wants a free life to go and keep meeting who I want. I want to put my daughter first, but her behavior is so unacceptable, and our family's found out too that I don't think this is being a good mom and has no respect for me at all. My wife is here on a spouse visa and I would never want to separate a child from their mother, but even her family are telling me this is so bad and she won't listen to anyone. Our daughter would be better without her, especially considering weed, drinking, meeting multiple men and coming home to kiss our daughter, spreading whatever diseases. I'm just in total shock with it all in her family. We are devastated why she has just turned completely wild and shameless and hadn't learned from the first time. Brother. You shouldn't be conflicted about this. You should have left her a very long time ago. You should really thank her for divorcing you because it's really in your best interest. This person is just an anchor tied around your neck. And with that, we come to the end of our stories for today. We hope that this journey has taken you on a roller coaster of emotions and that you have come away with some new insights and perspectives. Remember that stories are a powerful means of connecting us to one another, reminding us of our shared humanity, and fostering empathy and understanding. Thank you for sharing this experience with us, and we look forward to exploring more captivating tales with you soon. Until then, keep exploring and never stop telling your own stories.